Hi friends, ready for a talk? Let's talk about the 7 pillars of health. The first pillar of health is physical. That's your body, your physical body. This is going to include structure, nutrition, and chemistry. So your structure is, how are the bones on top of the other bones? How is the muscle formation? Do you have any stuck points? Do you need a chiropractic treatment? A massage? Do you have pain? Nutrition obviously is all about nutritional. Are you malnourished? A lot of Americans are fat and malnourished. So we're not getting the needed nutrition. We've got to look at that aspect of it. And then the third thing is chemistry. And chemistry is all about your lab results. What does your hormones look like? What does the liver look like? Your AST, your ALT? What do your enzymes look like? All of that. So we've got number 1, physical. Number 2 is going to be your mental. This is primarily your thoughts. But what happens is, with the thought process, is you have an emotion. You react to something. That feels uncomfortable. Well, that feeling leads to a thought. Well, that person must not like me. And then that leads to a behavior. Well, screw them. I'm not going to talk to them anymore. So you had an uncomfortable thought, which then triggered a process, and now your behavior is you're going to ignore somebody, and maybe they weren't even talking about you. So mental. Mental is really important. Mental is the piece right now that I have found has to do with my diabetes, and I need to get that under control. My root cause is PTSD, but the symptom is diabetes. So I'm going to get a hold of my thoughts, deal with the emotions as they come out, get rid of some of the stress. Spiritual, this is going to be your spirit, your will, and your soul. Now, spirit is important because that's where your personality lies, isn't it? You know, God gave us each a different personality, but we also are molded into our personalities by our environment. What happened to us when we were young? How did we take care of that? Are we a negative or a positive person? Our will is what we do with the knowledge that we have. Some of us are just naturally rebellious. Some of us are natural born followers. Some of us are natural born leaders. But how we represent ourselves, how we make our choices, outside of the thoughts. Our will is our free will. You know, what do we choose? And then our soul. Our soul is that indestructible piece of us that God is going to hold on forever. So we've got physical, mental, spiritual. Then we have intellectual. Now, intellectual is different than mental because intellectual is all about our brain stimulation, our learning, our growth, things that lead to us to level up, how we entertain our things. So like even with intellectual, you might watch a lot of, let's just say, violent shows on TV, okay? Maybe you have a sleep problem. I know somebody who used to love horror shows, but in real life, they were always a little timid and afraid of things happening. So they wanted my opinion. It wasn't like I just loudmouthed it off to them, but when they asked me, they're like, what do you see? How come I'm so timid? How come I'm so shy? I haven't had major traumas in my life. I said, well, what do you put into your brain every day? Well, their answer was honestly not a lot, but I do watch a lot of horror shows. Well, ding, 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 there it is. You know, so what we are downloading into our brain affects us intellectually, and that can lead into all different aspects of our life. So, you know, how's that little song go? Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. It is very important to protect that gray matter between your ears. That's our computer system. Not everything is good for it. The 5th pillar is financial. Now, this gets to be a touchy situation because I know all of us do not have the same amount of resources. We could be born into poverty. We could be born into wealth. But financial, I just want to skim the surface on and say that financially you just need to be stable. Do you have food in your house? Do you have a roof over your head? Fresh water? You know, that's going to put you at a fairly financial stable area. Yes, we need to pay our utilities, and great, a car would be nice, and hey, I want to have full coverage insurance. But financially, can you afford the life that you're living? The ways that we tweak this, I'm going to go back to my father. He always gave me some really very basic advice. And he would say, you know, you got two things you can do. You can spend less, you can earn more. So going into the finances, I'm not going to dig deep into. I am no financial expert. I am financially stable, and I did that through Dave Ramsey's financial course. So if you want to know anything about that, go below. We will put all of Dave Ramsey's connections in there. He is the pro at getting out of debt, building wealth, putting it into a very doable process. He has a 10-step process. Once you hit those 10 steps, he has another book that tells you how to become a millionaire. And building wealth is the same as building health. You know, it's about self-discipline, about following some general boundaries for yourself, living within those boundaries. The sixth pillar of health is going to be social. And this is mainly where our recreation comes in. You know, we need to recreate fun in our life, recreate. It's also about connection. We connect with other people. Some of us are hermits. My socialization comes through mainly my family. I have a couple very close friends. I like to go out to dinners. Some of you are social butterflies. You know, you like to talk to everybody. You would rather not be alone. But you have to find the balance that's right for you, because sometimes having too much going on can overstimulate us, you know, so we have to find balance in all seven of these pillars. The seventh one is vocation. Now, vocation and finances, a lot of people tie together, but you can make money without working for the man, and you can also have a vocation without making money. So financial, I tie with the word job. Vocation, I tie with the word purpose. We all have been given different talents, and God is going to hold us accountable for the talents that he's given us. Story in the Bible about when they gave out the talents, so to speak. One guy got 1 talent, one guy got 3 talents, and one guy got 5 talents. And you know, the one didn't want it wasted, so he buried it. And, you know, the 5th one used his talents. And when Jesus came back and said, hey, what did you do with what I gave you? The one who buried it, you know, thinking that at least he would be able to give the master back what he had been given, the master was not happy with that. He said, you know, you're a wicked servant. You didn't even make interest off it. You didn't use it to bless anybody. But the one who doubled their talents was given a reward because they used it to the best of their ability. So our vocation is the purpose and the design that we have been given from our Father above to be used for other people. My finances are tied to my retirements, but my vocation is tied to my spiritual gift of health, healing, administration, and teaching. So I serve by what I'm doing right now, offering time and wisdom, knowledge, in hopes that other people can gain benefit from it. And the fact of the matter is, I'm doing this not to benefit myself. So I hope you got some value out of today's lesson. And as usual, I hope God blesses you immensely today and something awesome and amazing happens to you. Bye, friends.